One of the victims of the contaminated blood scandal that has claimed almost 3,000 lives since the 1970s has called for those responsible to be prosecuted. As victims, families and lawyers made their opening statements at the inquiry into infected blood, the Scottish Government was heavily criticised for not being a key participant in the inquiry. Accusations were also heard about attempts to destroy official documents. Here's our health editor, Hugh Pym.
The judge heading the inquiry has clearly struck the right note with those present.
Good morning, all.
Sir Brian Langstaff has said he wants to put people at the heart of the inquiry.
Thank you very much.
Della, whose son died as a result of his haemophilia treatment, was one of those who spoke.
We have an inquiry with a judge and a team who are totally committed to bringing out all the truths and untruths of this terrible tragedy. Thanks, guys.
And then, unusually for a public inquiry, there was a hug from the judge. Michelle had transfusions in the 1980s, but had no idea she was infected with hepatitis C by contaminated blood till 3 years ago. She wants those in authority held to account.
Those responsible for this historic and horrific tragedy, which has lasted decades, must be identified. They must be held responsible for the consequences of their actions and prosecuted if necessary.
A lawyer for some of the victims and their families told the inquiry there were reports that civil servants had deliberately destroyed documents to try to draw a line under the disaster, including the private papers of a Secretary of State. There's frustration the Scottish Government has opted not to play a full part in the inquiry.
It's really important that Scotland engages with the actual process that it then has to follow up on, which is why we've been so surprised that they're holding back at this stage.
The Scottish Government says it's reviewing its level of participation. Other than that, campaigners seem reassured by what they've heard. Hugh Pym, BBC News.